Trumpeta italia katika anga.
Like this. That is how the trumpet will sound.
Eko nene. So saizi kuna vile the news from jana imekuwa ikitokea, and jana inakaa mvua ilibaki imecause like a lot of devastation, and like one of the scariest things ile nimecheki ni the first time nilicheki joy story ilikuwa ni post ya TV47, na TV47 walikuwa nasema that 18 bodies were retrieved, and this of course is very sad because I knew that yesterday was dangerous, and I knew that a lot of property got destroyed, but if you told me that 18 people were going to lose their lives, ningekwambia z, because it's just one of those things where you always assume that yes, there's going to be loss of property, there's going to be loss of like things apart from loss of property, there's going to be a lot of disruption, but loss of lives normally you don't expect it to be that high. So kulikuwa na hii post ya ilikuwa ni TV47, over 18 bodies retrieved from vehicles along Kirinyaga Road, then ikakuwa Nairobi County as recovery efforts continue. And time kama hii, of course, when such a thing happens, what happens is everyone thinks this could have been avoided 100%, and we are going to talk about that. But then the same story ilikuwa covered na Citizen, and I don't know why Citizen walikuwa na report that it's only 5 people who are dead, and this was by 1 p.m. because I remember Nini wanaitwa TV47 wakireport stories 18 bodies. This was before 1 p.m. So I don't know why Citizen were doing this, because of course watu walikufa ni wengi sana, but wacha tucheki ile Citizen ili report.
Now 5 people have been confirmed dead in Grogon and Uhuru Park in Nairobi following heavy downpours on Friday night. 4 people died in the Grogon area after the Nairobi River broke its banks and flooded the road, shops and vehicles.
So history of Nairobi rivers bursting its banks, it's just one of those things where I did a reaction video in the morning, and I remember before doing it I was there like, damn, should I say what people want to hear, because it's good when you tell people what they want to hear, or should I just be factual and say, you know, this is what's happening? But we'll come back to that, because I got a lot of reactions as I expected from your video asubuhi. So unachiki hapo, like the Nairobi river broke its banks. What does that show you? The amount of rain that fell yesterday. Whew.
One person was also found dead after she was swept away by floods at Uhuru Park. Katete Njoroge was out to assess the damage and files the following story.
Saturday morning, and Grogon, the heart of vehicle repairs, was turned to a sight of horror. Traders, mechanics and passers-by watching in disbelief the disaster caused by last night's flooding. At least 4 people were killed in this area after Nairobi River broke its banks and flooded the road and shops. A man who had run to seek shelter in this car died inside after the vehicle was swept away. About 500 meters ahead, another body retrieved from under a car was covered.
So is that right? Imagine like how much water you have to have for cars to be moved. Nakumbuka kwa ile video nikireact to Nini za jana kulikuwa na hiyo, like cars were literally getting moved, and now in the aftermath tumeona gari zilikuwa zimelala kwa side. So the amount of damage that happened yesterday was really big, and the roads yesterday, like hata baadaye nakumbuka kuna bonga na Robo, and Robo alikuwa anasema that bila expressway kufunguliwa anafikiria angefika kwake like saa 9 usiku, and even still after kina Robo na Ian kutoka hapa, it was around 9, Robo alikuwa anafika kwake like around 12 midnight, and that's just kutoka areas za South Sea mpaka Kariakoo. That's how much yesterday was chaotic.
Ilikuwa inaenda tukaanza kuona mabiria zikitoka, mabiria wakitoka wakipanda juu ya magari na watoto na wamama. Ilibidi kama sisi wenyewe tulijaribu juu chini, tukatafuta makamba. Tulianza na ile gari iko pale. Tulitoa wamama walikuwa hapo ndani na kamba, na tulikuwa na kamiti kengine hapo hivyo.
Kijaribu kuangalia huko nyuma, imagine exit na huko nyuma inaacha main river ikirudi huku. Sasa ikirudi huku imefagia mali za watu, magari inaenda, ukiona huwezi saidia. Sasa kitu tunasaidia ni binadamu.
For those who left their cars at the various garages in the area, the sight of what had happened was a big shock. The raging waters did not spare them. from matatus, small vehicles to pickups.
Hii magari mingi ilikuwa iende kwa sababu sasa ilikuwa inafanywa service kidogo. Leo unaweza kuja na gari yako, sasa angalia kutoka huku paka huku yote imelaliwa. Pia kuna watu bado wako wamenguzwa, wamekufa.
So na check your design vile watu wanabonga juu ya Nairobi River and vile Nairobi River ilibaki ime overflow. So some of the like images zile nilikuwa na cheki, kuna hii image I think ilikuwa shared na alikuwa nani anaitwa ilikuwa ni Joe Mshiri alibaki ameshare hii post, and kulikuwa na hiyo post ya like magari ziko kwa side, like that's how much, like I'm trying to imagine what was happening yesterday and how people were feeling just like having to deal with that horror. And kitu moja ilini bamba ni vile nilicheki, ama kitu nilifind intriguing ni kuna vile Joel comment kama, my goodness, how does someone recover from such losses? How do other people survive knowing that they've lost their loved ones due to government negligence and greed? Honestly, this is beyond messed up. Now you know who not to vote for in 2027. You don't need to be convinced unless you are a flaming idiot. Washenzi wote, may they all choke. Gasia hizi. Alafu, you can see the footage of gari. Kuna vile gari zimeanguka on the side. Kuna vile like a lot of damage kwa hizi gari. And yes, magari zimegongwa because cars were moving and hitting each other up. And this was the amount of damage caused by the floods. And when such a thing happens, it becomes, because we are naturally very emotional people, so it becomes very hard to look at this all logically. And history logic, inaingizaga in trouble. Logic inaingizaga in trouble sana. The river banks were broken. The water overflew, ama ilikuwa ina overflow. But somehow, if we had pipes ndogo, the sea as wide as a river, the rivers would not have overflown. Umelipwa na Sakaja. Okay, so that happens. And another one that I saw was ingine nilikuwa nashindwa nayo, because with this other one, what had happened is kuna vile I think ni shop ya Benz. So kulikuwa tuna ma Benz hapo, nilibaki nimecheki like kulikuwa na inaitwa ni kwa ni GL what? Yes, msako ameandika unaamka unapata GL kwa mlango yako. Nairobi CBD was bad. Alafu na cheki kuna like C class fulani, I think ni C class ya kitambo, ilikuwa imegonga GL fulani, alafu you can see a modern C class. So yeah, this was rough, man. These my Benz zimegongana. You can try and imagine like the amount of rain, and this made me ask myself a very philosophical question, like what's supposed to happen when unaendea gari yako alafu you find out that gari yako iliumizwa hivi. What's supposed to happen? Are you supposed to ask the msewa garage I repair for free? And msewa garage akikurepairia, is he supposed to ask you to pay? You see? I don't know. Okay. Maybe I know. Kuna hii meme wasome kwa kishare. And the meme was, I think this is a Uganda MP or something. So this Uganda MP, kuna time Nini, alikuwa ameulizwa I think juu ya economy. And akasema kitu ile, right now of course we can use it for humor, but so there's nothing to laugh about.
The economy is doing wonderfully.
Yeah, cause kwa watu wa nini, kwa mechanics, the economy is doing wonderfully. So that's what happened. So it come to his story. So now you see, like I had to go to AI and ask AI like how many people are reported across the different stations to be dead. Inasema as of March 7, 2026, the death toll from the severe flooding in Nairobi has risen to 23 people. Then ikaendelea, the fatalities followed exceptionally heavy overnight rainfall that caused flash floods across the city, submerging vehicles and destroying property. Then ikaendelea, casualties, the National Police Service confirmed 23 deaths. Additionally, at least 29 people have been successfully rescued by emergency teams. Most affected areas, heavy impact was recorded in Mukuru, Kibra, Mathare, Huruma, South B, South C, Pipeline na Westlands. Then ikakuwa infrastructure, major roads including the Thika Superhighway, Mombasa Road and Uhuru Highway became impassable. leaving thousands of commuters stranded, and flights at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport were also disrupted. Alafu kikwani, emergency response teams, including the Green Army and military personnel, remain on high alert. Why are they remaining on high alert? Is because according to the Kenya Met Department, hizi rains zilikuwa zinafaa kuisha sasa leo, but the alert was to stay till Monday. So there's that. Alafu, because of this, as I keep saying, there's a lot of emotions going on right now, and it makes sense. We are looking for someone to blame, and Nairobi has a very incompetent governor, and this incompetent governor is clueless. Nakumbuka juzi when I was talking about him, where he was talking about a chapati maker. So because we have someone who's that clueless, everyone wants to blame this dude. And don't forget, this dude is also very stupid, because kuna time where he was interviewed and he was asked about coming up with a drainage system, and you hear the way he answered that question, and then badai you see how people are angry at him, and you'll actually understand, because yes, you can say something but not the way he said it. So wacha to go back in time aliulizwa juu ya like coming up with a drainage system, because there are very many Kenyans who believe that you can stop floods. Okay, so because kuna that amount of Kenyans, you should never answer them like this.
The drainage people say we need to improve. To increase the drainage in Nairobi County for rain that comes maybe once a year costs around 25 billion shillings.
Hawezi ambia watu that the reason why you can't act on making the drainage better is the fact that rain comes once a year. Fuck you. These rains have been raining since when? That yesterday, Friday, they started on Thursday. Thursday they were bad. Friday they were worse. Why? Because ile maji ya Thursday haikuwa imeenda kabisa. So hii Friday ikaongezeka juu yake and made it even worse. And Saturday, hopefully by the time na shoot kulinyesha kidogo alafu kukacha kunyesha. So hopefully it stays that way. But ufala, nanitonga ni situational awareness. Very stupid.
Costs around 25 billion shillings. So you put 25 billion only on drainage. I will not pay a single salary. I'd rather do small improvements. But to do that massive infrastructure that the city needs, you need to get money upfront. We are talking to transaction advisors, but you need to help us with the law. PFM has restrictions, county government has restrictions. Urban Areas and Cities Act can create exceptions that allow the city to engage in certain ways of raising municipal financing. My friend.
So, this is how I look at it. If 25 billion looks like a lot of money till you look at the corruption in this country, what will the corruption tell you? Tuli lose 11 billion kwa Talanta Stadium, tuli lose 11 billion kwa SHA. 11 plus 11, that's 22 billion. We have a deficit of 3 billion. Nacheki, that's how simple that is. And that's just me nikifikiria hivi. Then let's go to State House. State House ilikuwa na budget I think ya 8.5, so far imetumia 17.5. Let's take 2 from that 8.5 extra that they used. Ama tulikuwa tumebakisha 3. Let's take 3 from that. We still have an extra 5 billion somewhere. So that's how you raise 25 billion this fast. So if 25 billion, if you can assure me that 25 billion can get rid of floods in Nairobi, that would be such an easy solution. That would be like something that, because mimi hata nikiwa assured that 25 billion can get rid of flash floods in the CBD, let's not even say the whole of Nairobi, I'd still be very impressed. And the fact that inasemekana inaweza solve Nairobi, and you're saying that we can't do that because the rains once a year. Rains in Nairobi hazikuwagi once a year. This is something that happens a lot of times. This is not once a year. Even before hizi floods za saizi kulikuwa na floods zingine like I think a few weeks back, they were just not as bad as hizi zile happened. So yes, but these are Tim's University fella. Am I surprised that he said this? No, I'm not surprised. I expected him to at least okay, I don't even know what I expected. Wacha tumalizie.
My friend, I have a friend who's the mayor of Cape Town. And the mayor of Cape Town has shown me how he's been able to do it over time, you know, to get money that they would never get. Otherwise, the governor of Nairobi becomes just a cashier. All I do is pay salaries, collect garbage today, and do this. But to leap forward, to transform the city, the kind of infrastructural investment you need at a go, this normal way of financing will not change anything.
Okay, I think last year nilipata chance ya kuenda Cape Town, and I remember coming back and I was so impressed by the way, like, okay, I could see like the garbage trucks moving around picking garbage, and people were wearing your uniform ya Cape Town. So this is nonsense. This guy can't tell me anything, he learned anything from Cape Town. The easiest thing to learn from them would be garbage collection. So the fact that we can't even do that, that to me is a problem. But now, if you come to Sakaja, as I keep saying, when such a thing happens, there's loss of life and there's loss of property. And such a thing happens and the middle class is affected. What happens is everyone comes up with solutions, and everyone is 100% sure that this would not have happened if this and this happened. And I always, and I like that, because these are the like Musamaga. We live in a society where if you are to ask the average Kenyan, if this statement, God gave humans dominion over everything, if you are to ask them if that statement is right, I think up to 90% of the of Kenyans think that. So they somehow think that we as humans are superior to nature. And hapa ndio shida inakuwa. Nimetukanwa kabisa mpaka kuna msali kwa ama ni engineer. Nacheka tu. Eko nene, najua mwaka ni mpya lakini injili ni ile ile, Lemfi. So kama uko US, uko UK, uko Canada, ama uko the UAE, na unatry kutuma do Kenya, baki umechangamka, ingia Lemfi, utabaki umepata the most competitive rates. Lakini apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 or more, utapata $20 sign up reward. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, chap ingia Lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Okay, so but before to come to your comment ya man engineer, kuna Nelson Harvey aliuliza a very good question. Ilikuwa ni, let's be fair to Johnson Sakaja. What did you want him to do? Stop the rain? Then vile alisema hivyo, the Kenyan vigilante akamwambia, you say you want to be the next Westlands MP with this kind of reasoning. Kibet Bull, simply work on drainage. Flooding happened in 2024 and 2025. Which strategy did you use to make sure that it will never happen again? Respond to this, au unakunywa chai. Sankara, maybe fix the drainage. So, what can Sakaja do? Sakaja can make things better by making sure that after the floods, the water moves faster. That's number one. What else can Sakaja do? Have a rescue team. That Sakaja can do. What Sakaja cannot do is stop the floods. I want to tell you what you want to hear. I want to lie to you that science, which I fully support 100%, has come up with a way where cities cannot flood. But science has not come up with that. Why? Because nature reigns supreme. Hii kitu ili unajua mpaka nilifikiria basi mimi ni fala nini, ikabidi niulize AI. Because saizi kuna msata jam, unaulizaje AI? Nikauliza AI, is there any city in the world that can never flood no matter the amount of rain? Then ikasema technically the answer is no. In the world of civil engineering and geography, there is no such thing as flood-proof city, only flood resistance ones. Flooding isn't just about how much rain falls, it's about how fast the water can move. If you dump enough water on a city quickly enough, even the most advanced drainage systems will actually hit a physical limit. However, some cities come remarkably close to being immune due to their geography or massive engineering projects. Kumbuka kwa video yangu, which city did I mention first? Tokyo. What did I say about Tokyo? Wacha tusome kile imesemekana hapa. Tokyo sits in a low-lying, rain-heavy area but has the world's most sophisticated defense, the GCANS project, Metropolitan Area Underground Discharge Channel. It's a massive underground cathedral of silos and turbines that can pump 200 tons of water per second into the Edo River. Kumbuka Nairobi River overflew. So where are we taking this water? Then ikaendelea, it has reduced flooding in the city by about 80%, but even this system has a maximum capacity. Then Darwin, Australia. Darwin is an interesting case because it's built on a low bluff, elevated land, and experiences massive monsoonal rains every year because it's designed specifically for extreme tropical downpours. It handles 250 mm of rain in a week, better than most cities handle 25 mm. Kumbuka hii yetu ya Nairobi ilikuwa 30 mm. Alafu ikakuwa its natural elevation and high capacity drainage makes flash flooding rare compared to cities built on floodplains like Brisbane or New Orleans. Brisbane iko Australia, New Orleans iko USA. So flash flooding rare compared to cities. That means that even cities like Brisbane or New Orleans get flash floods. La Paz, Bolivia, an average elevation of 3,640, so yuko juu kabisa, is one of the highest cities in the world. Because it's built on such steep slopes, rainwater naturally rushes downhill very quickly. While this makes the city itself hard to submerge in a traditional sense, the real danger here isn't a lack of water, it's landslides and mud flows caused by the same rushing water. So this is what I was talking about. But why never doesn't exist? Even if a city is high up or has great pipes, three things can cause a flood. Drainage clogging. This is what every Kenyan blames. If trash or debris blocks the grates, water will pool on the streets even if the pipes underneath are empty. Then ikaendelea saturation. If the ground is already soaked from previous rain, it can't absorb a single drop more, turning every park and lawn into a slip and slide for runoff. This is what happened. Thursday, it rained a lot. Friday, kulikuwa na saturation. And this is the reason why on Thursday and Friday, the river banks blew. If you've watched me long enough, you've heard me criticize Sakaja. I feel like Sakaja is an incompetent piece of shit. That one we both agree on. What I don't want to lie to people, because Musamaga, like, let's learn from each other. What I'd not want anyone to believe is that there's this drainage system. I always hear it like, kumekuwa na drainage system, hakungekuwa na floods. Hakungekuwa na floods. Buddha, do you understand nature? God gave you dominion over everything. No, he didn't. That's why people drown. Water kills, like lightning kills. Like nature is always trying to kill you. That's why tukikuja on earth, the first thing inafanyikana ni immunization, because nature wants you to kill you. Nature is confused. 1 minute inataka the species to continue. So that's the reason why the older that you get, you start getting attracted to the opposite female. Why? The opposite gender. Why? Because nature needs the population to grow. But at the same time, survival for the fittest. So nature is always trying to prove who's the fittest, who can survive the floods, who can survive the disease, who can survive what. And through science, we've been able to manipulate that and come up with vaccines and live longer. But if you look at the floods happening right now in Kenya, you'll see even the floods have happened in places where it's not a city. So I'd ask, if a place iko flat even a major flood, where is the drainage system? Where are the buildings that are blocking the drainage system? So as we do this thing, let's also be Nini, let's not just, and this is not to excuse Sakaja and his incompetence. This is just to say that it would be very sad one day tukiwa na a good governor who does everything right, but somehow the city floods and we'd want his head on a spike. And I'd be there like, no. Sakaja is an incompetent piece of shit. Kenya Kwanza, incompetent as fuck. But floods will always be there unless tunaweza have the level of engineering ilifanyika na Tokyo, which reduced it by 80%. That means there are still floods, but reduced it by 80%. So, as I was saying, niliend up nimeenda kwa comments zangu, and I was expecting this because I was there. I won't lie to you, kuna videos before I do, I always think to myself, like, should I do this? Or should I just like join the people and be like, you know what? This can never happen. If Africa was the governor of Nairobi, there'd be no floods. And then, am I allowed to say that? And then am I allowed to still stand here and say that I'm someone who supports science and someone who understands how science also has its limitations? Might we one day maybe reach a level where science comes up with a way where we can deal with flash floods? Maybe. That's a possibility. Science has been around for 400 years. And in these 400 years, science has not only expanded or lengthened our lifespan, it might also lead to the destruction of our species. Like right now as we speak, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Dubai airport ilikuwa hit leo. Why? Courtesy of science. And because of that, kuna someko kisema that nuclear weapons zinatumika. That's courtesy of science. Science has been around for 400 years, come up with a way that we can destroy humanity, and destroy not humanity but life on earth, and leave single-celled organisms, because of course not everyone will be killed by radiation. But still, even with that, science so far haija come up na a way to deal with flash floods. Are they working on it? Yes. Can it be reduced? Yes. What is there a situation whereby we can reach where the city never floods? No. Does this mean that I'm supporting Sakaja? That depends with how you want to look at it. And then it goes back to kitu moja ile nimekuwa nikisikia wasa wakisema that the government needs to compensate the victims of the floods. That would be good. If that could happen, that would be really good. Do I think it happens in any city? I'd be surprised. Kauko majuu niambie, like places kaki na New Orleans, Louisiana, kumbuka ile place when ule mselko na bonga juu Trump doesn't care about black people. Were those people compensated? I don't want to know. I don't know. I don't. That one I'll say that. I'll say posijui. But yes, I've seen some really disturbing Nini. I've seen some really disturbing footages. But yes, kuna mse moja alinibamba sana. Alikuwa ameniambia I'm an engineer. Ilikuwa ni mse mgani? I disagree with you on all points. The places you're telling us to compare have drainage systems. How frequently are those floods in those countries? How talk about drainage during this is a case of graft and mismanagement. I don't dispute there's a lot of graft and mismanagement about that. But the guy walinibamba ni mse aliniambia stories I'm an engineer. I always find that to be interesting. Wale wase ubongaganika we don't stay in Kenya where like there's no one who I've never had, and I say this respectfully, if you're an engineer in Kenya, I still respect you, but I'm just saying I've never had anyone stamp their chest and say this is Kenyan engineering. This is German engineering. This is Japanese engineering. This is Chinese engineering. So if you come to batteries, I've never had this is Kenyan engineering. So if the Japanese have not been able to figure out this, and if it flooded, I think earlier this year it flooded in where was it? Berlin. Yeah, kuna be YouTube leo na umefail exam. Honestly, you're thinking see your logic. Ule msa mimi engineering alikuwa wapi? You mentioning Wama Dimples a lot unnecessarily. Hadi tunashuku komboka. Okay. Always mushuku iwa sana. Hakuna msa kanichanua juu ya how to do nini bila mwaf leo nayo umelipwa. Sakaja alikuwa anajua rains coming. Pia alisign agreement ya ni 80 billion infrastructure. Iko nene, iko mafuriko. Then kuna mselko niambia, Nira, I think. Ni architect Mwangi, such an ignorant take, mwaf. Nairobi does not have any drainage infrastructure, leave alone the fact that drainage infrastructure for cities are usually designed to withstand flood events for even 50 and beyond years. Okay, damn. 50. Damn, okay. There are strategies to deal with issues of rainfall. This cannot be reduced to a matter of nature. That's akin to you being religious. Nikamwambia to show me one city that doesn't flood and can never flood. I think even when I was answering that, I've never seen this dude talk about 50 years. 50 years. Flash floods happen in hours, not years. If the rain that was raining yesterday rained for 50 years, by saa hizi mimi na wewe maji ingekuwa imetufikia hapa. By kesho tungekuwa mwaf sasa umeanza kubo, umeshani bo. Nairobi kuna drainage nene. Raka hizo ni bambaga sana. Izira umeanza kunibo. I like listening to you, but sometimes you talk a lot of BS. That rain is easily handled by just functioning drainage. Ni kwa iraya. Ninaitwa mwaf, ungejua how ridiculous your defense sounds. As an architect who has knowledge on planning, disaster, zoning, infrastructure. Boss, it's your feelings that will hurt. If we approach this conversation and base it on facts, the floods were totally avoidable. And I gave examples. Anyone who watched that video knows at the end of that video, I gave examples of Tokyo. Nikapatia na I literally did that just to show people that yes, disaster, we can work with the disaster. We can come up with disaster management. But for you to think that somehow you can stop floods, it's laughable. It's just laughable. Najua it's, and I want, like right now, I know as I'm doing this, I know I'm losing subscribers, I know I'm hurting feelings, I know, especially let's say mse nda yake iliharibika jana, ama mse keja yake ili flood, aliingia kapata all electronics zake ziko kwa maji zimekufa, and you're looking for someone to blame. Then comes this dude who does a podcast and is like, no, yesterday there is nothing that could have stopped what happened during that period of rain. Afterwards, yes, deaths zinahapenige. So yeah, kukwe na mseka mimi. But talking of disaster, I think as I finish up the story, I think one of the things we need to be happy is Nairobi County has Nini has what is it called, like disaster management team. And as I keep saying, these rains, if you lost your property and you went to the insurance company to ask you why, like to ask for insurance, they tell you they can't pay you because it's an act of God. But now let's think about our disaster management team. What sort of degrees do they have? Wacha tusikize.
I can see Bramwell is trying to be clever. Bramwell, is there an officer called Anastasia Sumbua in your department?
Yes, she's a...
What is her position?
She's a principal fire officer.
What is her qualification?
She's in theology.
Correct.
And
let's move to the next one. Just a minute.
Because disaster management...
Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Is there somebody called Juliana Nziuki?
Correct.
What is her position?
I think she's also a principal, if I'm not wrong.
But yes. What is her qualification?
She has... I was just looking at it a minute ago.
So that it is not, Governor,
yeah.
It seems that we just perpetuate fake news on the media.
Yeah. And
it is intended to help you reallocate these resources in a manner that will be most efficient for the people of Nairobi.
So, Meskia, like one of the people at disaster management, you can have a degree in theology. What happened yesterday was what the insurance companies describe as an act of God. So, what am I going to advise right now? My advice is simple. Let's, since we want to be the first city to have zero floods, it's time to pray, man. Let's just get on our knees and let's pray. Let me get on my knees and pray. Yesu Kristo eko nani.